Last week I made a video about 3 different science fiction travel machines and how your life might be different if you could travel in them. But today I'd like to talk about 2 science reality travel machines of the near future, and I want to ask my viewers how your life would be different with them, because today I had an event which showed me the value of one of these machines. Actually, I had a number of events this past week that showed me the value of both of these machines. I'm talking about the self-driving car, obviously, and also Elon Musk's idea of an Earth-to-Earth rocket that can take you from A to B anywhere on Earth, not instantly, but within 30 minutes, and then plus the time to get through security, but still a lot faster than we can go nowadays. And he thinks that eventually you'll be able to do that for the equivalent cost of flying today. So I'll let you pause this video for a second and think about how your everyday life, or maybe your once-a-year vacation, would be different if we had these 2 machines, and then I'll talk about why I thought about it today. So earlier today, I had responded to an ad on Craigslist for tutoring. Somebody was looking for a tutor, and the only problem was the distance. From talking with his family, he sounded very pleasant to work with, the conditions were just right, the topic was just right, but the distance was, especially the time of the day he wanted, the traffic. So, I mean, the cost for the car wasn't the end of the world. The end of the world was that for a 1-hour session, because this kid has learning difficulties, he doesn't want to do a longer session. For a 1-hour session, I would have to spend an hour and a half on the road. That was the main deal breaker. If I had a self-driving car, I might take that deal. If I could do other things in the car, see, now that I have a girlfriend, my time alone has become very, very precious. You know, even though I have a girlfriend, I still identify as solosexual. The girl is more like an outside affair. I'm a solosexual guy with an extramarital affair, if you will. That's how I tend to identify myself. But my time alone has become really extinct now, with my career, with the girl, and but I really like the idea with the student, and I would have taken him except for the long drive. You know, I can accept the cost of the car. The cost of the time is not very acceptable. I learned a valuable lesson 2 winters ago. What had happened was I had taken on a client in early January, so at the turn of the year. And at first I was happy about it, but then the days started getting longer and the deal didn't seem so hot anymore. The opportunity cost of the deal changed. At the beginning of the winter, I was giving up an hour of snow outside to go tutor this kid for whatever the deal was. And then toward the end of that spring semester, I was giving up an hour of sunset, and then I was giving up an hour of really prime sunlight at the beginning of the summer. And I learned my lesson to project out. You know, are you going to think this is still a hot deal if 2 months later we go into spring, or 3 months later if you get a girlfriend? I start to ask myself that. And I learned my lesson. I'm glad I got to apply that lesson today. Okay, so that's the self-driving car. There are a lot of gigs that I would do that would become worthwhile if we had the self-driving car. I could probably reconsider where I live as well. So that might be a big downfall of the self-driving cars. We might have even more significant urban sprawl than we have today as it is. That remains. I know for a fact that I would do that, so I'm pretty sure other people think the way I do. It's one of those things you have to be the first person to have in order to actually benefit from it. Once everybody has it, let me wait for this car to get out of the way, just in case there's a lot of noise on the video. So yeah, urban sprawl would probably be a much bigger concern. Yeah, see, I love making videos outside, but I can never get the right noise conditions. I like to showcase where I like to hang out, but I can never get the right noise conditions. If we had self-driving cars, I'm not sure how that would change. Okay, on to the Earth-to-Earth rockets. Well, I think I would still travel more or less the same amount if it costs the same amount as an airline ticket, but it would be a lot easier to arrange. See, right now, every time I go to Taiwan or go to Europe, I feel bad about going only 1 week because I'm spending like two days in the air. If I only spend 2 hours in the air, I might be more accepting of going on a shorter trip and then doing some other stuff for the rest of the time off. I find myself just killing time in Europe just because I already spent so much time in the air. The other thing I might do is... God, I'm trying to think where else I might apply this. Well, earlier this year, I wanted to travel somewhere to go see a lunar eclipse. It was only a penumbral eclipse, but I had, to make a long story short, I was kind of bored. Just my career was, my job was at a slow time at the time, and I just wanted something to do, and unfortunately, it wasn't driving distance that I could go somewhere, and then when I look up the flights, I don't know what happened. 3 years ago, I paid about $500 for a flight from a round trip from Seattle to Warsaw, but when I looked it up nowadays, it's hard to find for over $1,200. And but obviously 3 years ago that was during the summer. I'm not sure what the peak season I can't imagine a lot of people wanting to go to Warsaw during the winter time. I wanted to go to Gdansk actually because they have a very nice dark skies. They have a boat marina. I was hoping to catch it over there. But depending on how much it costs, things like that might be a little bit more feasible with the time constraints. I could almost go there and go back to work without missing a heartbeat. If it's a very important event, I probably wouldn't go for a penumbral eclipse. But if it's a major solar eclipse, or later this year we have the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. Although once we have Earth to Earth, I'll probably want to go to Jupiter to view a Jupiter and Saturn conjunction. So I might always just be wanting something a little bit bigger than what we have. Anyways, how would your life change once we have these two technologies? I'm curious to hear how you would utilize them. Thanks for watching.